The Chair will address the committee. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Good morning. Good morning. Before anything else, it is important that we begin by looking back. Because the work we have today is anchored on what has already been laid on record. Noong nakaraang pagdinig, April 14, we began by affirming our constitutional mandate, our exclusive power to initiate all cases of impeachment. Nasa atin ang unang galaw, nasa atin ang direksyon, at hawak natin ang beat. Ngunit nabanggit din natin na malinaw ang limitasyon ng ating papel sa yugtong ito. Hindi pa ito paghuhusga. Our task at this stage is simply to determine probable cause kung may sapat na batayan upang magpatuloy. As Congressman Benny Abante stated, sisilipin natin kung may usok. Dahil kung may usok, tungkulin nating hanapin kung nasaan ang sunog. During our last hearing, we formally recognized the complainants, Father Sabalya and his group, and of course, Attorney Cabrera. All of them were present, ready to face this committee and stand by their complaints. But there was one thing we could not ignore. Something that was right in front of us. The empty chair of the Vice President. Wala po siya nitong nakaraan. Habang nandito ang mga nagrereklamo, ang tanging humarap sa atin ay isang bakanteng upuan. And yet, with or without the presence of the Vice President, with or without her cooperation, tuloy ang mandato ng komite. At umusad nga ang ating pagdinig noong araw na iyon. First, we formally received subpoena documents, all of which are now part of our record. Second, we heard a statement of Ramil Madriaga, who testified for the very first time in a public hearing. Through his supplemental affidavit, we were confronted with a staggering allegation that confidential funds were spent not just in 11 days, but were purportedly disposed of within a mere 24 hours. Hindi 11 araw, sa halip 24 oras. Milyones na naubos sa loob lamang ng isang araw. Mabigat ang mga binitiwang salita ni Ramil Madriaga. At minsan pa siyang naiyak habang binabasa ang kanyang supplemental affidavit. To back his words, he signed a bank waiver to prove that he has nothing to hide. During one exchange, Congresswoman Janet Garin recalled the Farmally controversy and could not hide her frustration upon hearing Ramil Madriaga's allegation that the Vice President's campaign may have been financed by Farmally, an assertion that, if proven, further deepens the seriousness of the issues now before this committee. Third, and with the help of Congressman Joel Chua, we have adopted the records from the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, the testimonies of various resource persons regarding the envelopes and the questionable receipts and other statements given in that legislative inquiry are now officially part of this impeachment process. Fourth, we heard from the NBI expert, and their findings are very clear. Kinumpirma nila na base sa kanilang pagsusuri, several question signatures were actually signed by one and the same person. This proves that there was a pattern, and it raises even more questions about who was really behind these documents. Magkakaiba ang mga pangalan, ngunit iisa ang perma. I will repeat. Magkakaiba ang mga pangalan, ngunit iisa ang perma. Fifth, we heard from a representative of the PSA who confirmed that several personalities appearing in the records have no corresponding entries in official civil registries. Kabilang dito ang kontrobersyal na pangalang Mary Grace Piatos na batay sa kanilang verifikasyon ay walang umiiral na PSA record. Si Mary Grace Piatos ay wala sa data ng PSA. Sixth, we heard from Attorney Gloria Camora of the COA, who confirmed that the Commission proper has resolved the Vice President's appeal on the notice of disallowance, effectively affirming that this allowance covering more than 73 million pesos. She further disclosed that the COA has issued 3 additional notices of disallowance, indicating continued deficiencies in compliance. These developments lend significant weight to the financial irregularities under examination. As noted by Congressman Chel Jokno and Congressman Antonio Tino, this effectively render the Vice President liable to return all these amounts. 73 million pesos plus 375 million pesos to the National Treasury. Ang Vice Presidente ay may pananagutan na ibalik ang 73 million plus 375 million, total of 448 million sa ating National Treasury. And when we heard all these resource persons, the committee will note that while I disallowed certain probing questions to ensure fairness, I nonetheless permitted all inquiries that sought to clarify the truth. On that note, the records will reflect that the arguments regarding the difference between credibility and character, as well as the confusion between page numbers and dates, were stricken from the record. We have done this to maintain the integrity and order of these proceedings. Sa kabuuan, what we saw was not a single piece of evidence, but a body of evidence. Hindi pa isa-isa, kundi magkakaugnay. But after the hearing, the story did not end there. Sa katunayan, doon pa lamang nagsimula ang mas malakas na ingay sa labas. Marami ang nagulantang. Marami ang nag-react. The hearing became the subject of headlines, discussions, statements, particularly from the Vice President. However, it is worth noting that instead of addressing the core issues, the focus shifted to a peripheral matter, ang academic performance umano ng Vice Presidente nung siya'y nag-aaral pa. Samantalang, ang mas mabibigat na usapin tungkol sa confidential funds, sa mga dokumento, sa mga transaksyon ay nananatiling hindi direktang nasasagot. Kumbaga, sa 100 ebidensya, isa lang ang pinupuntirya. Let me be clear. This committee will not take anything at face value, whether said inside this hall or outside of it. Hindi tayo basta maniniwala sa ingay. We will evaluate everything dahil ang katotohanan ay hindi matatagpuan sa mga press release. Ito ay nakasandal sa mga dokumento at sa mga salaysay na sinumpaan. Sa totoo lang, nagos na nga tayo. Tila ginagaslight pa tayo. Ang mas mahalagang tanong ay kung nasaan ang pera. Ngunit ang sagot sa atin ay tungkol sa grado sa kolehiyo. And the worst part, this explanation is not being made here, but everywhere else. Ang gusto natin ay testimonya sa ilalim ng sumpa. Pero ang ibinibigay sa atin, press release at content sa social media. Again, let us be clear. Hindi tayo basta maniniwala. We will evaluate everything. Madriaga's testimony, COA documents, NBI findings, PSA certifications. Lahat ng ito ay kailangang iharap dito. Suriin dito. Timbangin dito. Pero dapat dito. Humarap ang kailangang humarap. Manumpa at magpaliwanag. Dito sa committee ito. Because this is the proper forum. Hindi sapat ang magsalita sa labas. If there's anything to clarify, the best and the only place to do that is here, before this committee, under oath and on record. And that brings us to today. Ngayong April 22, malinaw, the work of this committee continues. Ang mga isyong inilahad ay hindi natapos noong nakaraan. Today, We expect further evidence from the Office of the Ombudsman, from the Bureau of Internal Revenue, from the Securities and Exchange Commission, and especially from the Anti-Money Laundering Council. We also anticipate testimonies that will help contextualize the data before us, and that includes from former Senator Sonny Trillanes. Kung mapapansin ninyo, ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon, mga numero, SALN, tax records from BIR, reports from AMLC. This is the part where the numbers have to be studied, compared, analyzed. And numbers, take note, unlike people, numbers do not have motives. Numbers do not lie. Again, numbers do not lie. At dito po, nagiging mas mabigat ang usapan. Because when we speak of numbers, we are no longer dealing with opinion, spin, or even narrative. We are confronting cold, unyielding facts. Hindi ito napapakiusapan. Hindi ito natatakot. Hindi ito napipilit magsinungaling. A number either matches or it does not. At higit sa lahat, hindi po ito basta numero lamang. Pera ito ng taong bayan. Pera ito ng manggagawang Pilipino na araw-araw kumakayod, ng pamilyang nagtitipid para makabayad ng buwis, ng bawat Pilipinong umaasa na ang kanilang ambag ay napupunta sa tama. A peso is either accounted for or it is missing. At kapag pinagsama-sama ang mga numerong ito mula sa SALN, BIR, AMLC, they begin to tell a story which no press conference can rewrite, no diversion can erase. Because numbers, once laid bare, speak with a clarity that cuts through noise. And when they point to a discrepancy, they do not whisper. They demand to be answered. Kung ayaw magsalita ng tao, kung ayaw humarap ng vice-presidente, hayaan natin na ang mga numero ang magkwento. Sa hearing na ito, we shall therefore enter the territory of forensic truth. Sa pamamagitan ng mga numerong ito, malalaman natin ang tunay na pagkatao sa likod ng posisyon. Siya ba ay tunay na public servant o isa pa lang private billionaire? At ang direksyon natin ngayon ay simple, ngunit matibay. We follow the evidence wherever it leads. Hindi tayo magpapadala sa ingay. Hindi tayo lilihis sa proseso. Ang ating sandigan ay ang konstitusyon at ang ating layunin ay ang katotohanan. Because in the end, ang tanong ay hindi kung sino ang pinakamalakas ang boses. Hindi kung sino ang pinakamaingay sa labas, kundi kung saan tayo itinuturo ng ebidensya. As we see it now, the chair right before us, it remains empty. At tila, sanay na po tayo sa tanawing iyan. Ngunit kahit bakante ang upuang iyan, even if that chair remains empty, this room is full of the people's questions. Napakaraming tanong. Mga tanong na sa kabila ng pag-iwas, hindi mawawala. Sa kabila ng pananahimik, hindi maglalaho. Mga tanong na kailanman ay hindi kayang takasan ng bakanteng upuan. Not today. Not anymore. Let the evidence speak. Let the numbers testify. Let the chips fall where they may be. Let us finally resume this hearing. With that, this committee shall proceed.